Hello, welcome to our row of hearts tutorial. We are going to learn some really cool skills today that will help you in your watercolor journey and also have a lot of fun in the process. So I want to just show you your pattern. You can do the large one like I'm doing today, or we've got a smaller version that you can do as a card, or you can just copy it on the side here and then you can just fold your paper and it turns it into a great card. I have gone ahead and outlined mine. I hope you can see those lines. My lines are pretty dark so that you can see them on the camera. You're going to want to make sure that your lines are pretty light. The best way to do that is to go over it with pencil and then do a kneaded eraser or even just a regular eraser and just kind of go over it really lightly. The reason you want to do that is because the paint, the watercolor paint, kind of acts like glue for your pencil lines. And so once there's paint over those lines, it's pretty much impossible to get those lines off. So if you don't want your lines to show on your finished product, then just make sure that you erase as much as you can, get your lines as light as possible so that your paint is what people see instead of your pencil lines. Okay, so today we are going to learn the wet on wet technique, and it is just a really cool, really fun technique. And it's something that's really helpful to know as you're watercoloring because of this simple truth, and that is that in watercolor, water will stay within the confines of the dry paper around it. So we'll see that as we're doing this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just dip our brush in our water. And this is a number 6 brush. You can use any size really. I like this size because it's kind of a medium size. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to very carefully stay within the line of my heart, and I'm going to just paint it with water. It might be hard to see this in the camera, but I'm trying very hard to stay within the lines. Okay, so I just did that with this heart. I've got it all blocked in with my water. Now I'm going to come in with my beautiful red, my alizarin crimson, and I'm just going to touch that water. And you're going to see some magic happen. As you can see, that paint is not going anywhere near where it's dry. Okay, so now I'm just kind of coming with my brush on some of those areas that were dry that I thought I got. I'm just going to outline to the edge of my heart. Isn't that such a fun technique? And to know that you don't have to worry about it getting all over the place. So if you just keep those outside areas dry, you can do all kinds of things within that space. We learned a lot more about this and do all kinds of fun projects in watercolor school. So if you're not a member of that yet, I invite you to join us there. Okay. Just going to play a little more in here. Just adding a little bit more of my paint. And then we'll leave it alone and go on to our next one. I'm going to do the same thing here. Make sure that I'm keeping it within the lines of my heart. It helps that my water is just a little bit pink, so I can see a little better where I'm going. Okay, now comes the fun part. So the more water you add, the more it can kind of swirl. So this one has a lot more water than the last one. So I'm just kind of letting those colors swirl together. You can add in some darker tones. It almost looks like a heart moon. So pretty. All right, moving on to the next one. You can see my water's definitely getting darker. But that's okay, that helps me. Okay, here we go. Ooh, so fun. I'm gonna leave that one just like that. It's so fun. Just get those edges. Okay, let's go to our next one. We'll go up here. Make sure to get those edges. Be so careful. So what happens if you do go outside those edges is probably your question. What should you do? My answer is to quickly take your paper towel. You're just going to dry that area as quickly as you can because it will stop, the water will stop traveling where there is no moisture. So you just want to take the moisture away as soon as you can to stop the paint from traveling. Here we go. Just let it swirl around. Just gonna have a little more down here now that that's kind of drying. Okay. Just making sure that's nice and wet. Just kind of moving it around. Okay, moving on to our last one. You can tell I washed my brush out a little better on that one because it's really clear. Just following those lines. I'm gonna add just a little more water to that. I want it to be nice and wet. All right, and do our magic. There's so many fun things you can do with this technique. It's really cool for landscape painting. You get some really cool textures from this technique. We have a project in Nature's Art Club and Watercolor School where we do the phases of the moon. So that is a really fun way to use this wet on wet technique. And then just all kinds of abstract color mixing ideas work really well with this technique. Okay, so now I'm just going to check, and I'm just going to take some of those polka dots out because I don't necessarily want polka dots everywhere. So I'm just going to kind of move that around, but you may want that. Look, you have fun doing whatever you want, but I'm just moving those colors around just a little bit. And then just doing my best to not mess with it too much because it does some really cool things on its own. One of the words that is used in the watercolor world for some of the things that happen with wet on wet technique is blooming. So if you look at this one right here, you can see how it almost looks like fireworks, or like a flower that's blooming. It's blooming here. And it's blooming there. Anyway, so as it dries, all these textures are going to come out that you never could have planned. It just kind of surprises you, and that's why this technique is so relaxing. You kind of let it do its own thing, and it's really beautiful. Okay, and this is what they look like after they dry. Got some beautiful patterns that just happened so naturally in here. You can see where it bloomed. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to see what you came up with. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.